Yo, what's good, y'all? Soul Light here, and the RNC welcomes you. Today is me, obviously, Soul Light, and we got Emmanuel here. All right, y'all. So Marvel Rivals recently had its closed alpha test, and it was like the last few days of it, but I was able to get in and play about one day. And yeah, he did too. I was able to get him a code. Unfortunately, though, I did have to move, so I wasn't able to play for as long as I wanted to. But I got a pretty good session in. You can see some of my gameplay up on the screen right now. But honestly, we just wanted to talk about the game so far in the time we have played. Did you have anything you wanted to start off with, Emmanuel?
Yeah, I think I played a little bit more than you.
Oh no, you definitely did. You played it. You played a good bit more.
I got the grasp of like the balancing and just the good feel of the game after playing for like a couple days or so. So I think I had like 9 hours on the game or something like that.
Yeah, I really only got to play like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it was a good amount. But yeah, we can definitely talk about a couple things that I had to say about the game for sure. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Tight shit. So far, well, not so far. I wanted to start off talking about the gameplay and like the gameplay loop overall. So,
disclaimer: this is being filmed on the 12th. I believe there's gonna be a announcement for the game around like what, the 20th, was it?
Oh yeah, you said the 20th, yeah.
Yeah, the 20th. So this is before all that. We don't know what characters are coming out. We don't know what's gonna be happening. If there's like gonna be like an open beta or like when the game's coming out. But yeah, we're excited to see that. But like this is before all that. Just a disclaimer.
Yeah. So anything that may be like brought up or any updates to gameplay or anything at all, we don't know about that yet. But if y'all wanted to see our reaction to that or anything, let us know in the comments below.
Oh God.
So let's honestly just start with the characters. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate how they've handled the characters in this game. So obviously it's a hero shooter similar to that of like Team Fortress 2, mostly Overwatch. You can tell that they're really taking inspiration from that game. I like how with the characters, there are definitely aspects of Overwatch characters that are being like not really taking homage to, but really kind of just being brought into Marvel Rivals. But I appreciate the fact that even with that, the characters still have their own unique aspects to them. It's not just like, oh, we have Tracer in Marvel Rivals and that's Star-Lord, right? It's not like, oh, we have Spider-Man and Spider-Man plays like just exactly like Vora from like Paladin to something, as another example. Like they still have their own unique aspects to them, and I really appreciate that so far. It's not just cookie cutter or anything. What did you have to say about that?
I will say, like you said, I really like how they did take elements from other games, yeah, like Overwatch or Paladins or whatever, but I do like how every character is still unique and they're still respective to their comic book counterparts. Like for example, like let's say Doctor Strange, like the portal. I don't think any game I've ever seen does that in a hero shooter.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Like
the only game I can think of that does that was I think it was called like Hyperscape. Was that Hyperscape? The one where like it was like a mix of Call of Duty and Portal. Where they
I know. I remember that game. Actually, I remember that game.
I don't remember what it's called.
It was something like that, I think. I'll throw it on the screen in a second for editing.
Yeah, yeah, I like how they implemented that as a feature for Doctor Strange, because that's what he's known for, opening portals with his sling ring, right? Or like Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie, Spider-Man is like one of the, he's really fun to look at, because I don't think he's really built for a hero shooter, but they somehow made him work, you know?
Right,
like,
I agree.
Like they somehow made him playable and usable in a hero shooter, which is crazy. And I like how they didn't just give everybody guns.
Right, exactly. That's another thing that I wanted to touch on, is like, obviously the problem arises with a Marvel hero shooter game is that, oh, a lot of these characters, they do hand-to-hand combat primarily. So it's like, oh, well, how are we gonna translate that into a hero shooter? Well, they solved that by just saying, well, fuck it, let them be hand-to-hand. Like a lot of the characters in the game, like Black Panther and Spider-Man, they work in a game like this because they can engage and disengage whenever the player wants. So it's not like you're playing like Winston in Overwatch. It's not like you're playing him and you have to really commit to diving on an opponent. Like you can get in, do your little burst damage, and then get back out. And
that's another thing. Like Winston, he will dive in, right? He'll dive in,
yeah,
do his little thing, and then leave. But then in this game, I feel like you can dive in and actually feel like you're doing something. You feel me?
right, and you're not gonna get
Especially
immediately shit on, yeah.
Especially like as Black Panther, like that nigga. Not gonna lie, he's one of the hardest characters to play in the game. But if you get like a feel of how he works, because the way he works is like, I don't know if you're gonna put this on the screen or not, but like he has this vibranium essence thing, where if he hits you with it, then he can recharge his dash. So then once the dash is recharged, he can hit you with it again, and then like he'll throw this spear or like his little tornado spin kick thing that he does. And then once he like does that, he gets his dash again, and that's his combo. Like that's how you do damage. And
right.
I feel like he's so fast that like you doing damage is not like insignificant. You actually feel like you're doing something, rather than like Winston, who just like jumps on your head, does a little static shock thing, and then just jumps out. Like it's not. You don't feel useless, right? So same thing with Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, I don't really feel like he does a lot of damage just by himself, but he has combos that make him feel like, yeah, I can win these 1v1s. Same thing with Magic too, and like a lot of these DPS characters in this game. But
and that's another thing I wanted to touch on as well. It's like, even if characters don't do a lot, like a huge insane amount of burst damage, like let's say for instance Spider-Man does do his little dive combo on you, he gets his engage with like a web swing, does his E, does his combo and stuff. Even if it doesn't just like do 75% of your health or anything, like the enemy is going to be distracted enough to where another teammate can help you finish that person off. Like, so it's not completely pointless, and you're not just feeding the enemy and giving them more ult charge or anything. Like I like how that works.
Speaking of ults, I love how every single fucking character in this game feels strong when they use their ult. Like Overwatch has this the biggest problem where like some ults just feel so useless. Like, why am I popping this? You know what I mean? Especially like I want to say like Genji. When that guy pops his ult, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I don't care when he uses his little cookie cutter butter blade. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care. Right? But like if Punisher comes out with his ult, everybody dips. It's like a fucking a bird hearing a loud sound, and the whole trees, like everybody scatters. Or Hela using her ult, and she gets into the sky and just starts shooting shit. Like everything feels strong. Like it's not useless at all. I would say a couple of them feel a little bit weird, but I'll get into that later. But for sure, like I would like really bring a round of applause for how they use their ults and all that.
Yeah, like the sheer utility and stuff around like a lot of the ults is really nice. Like Spider-Man again, he's the character that I played the most. It was Spider-Man, Magic, and a bit of Star-Lord, and like Mantis too. Those are the characters that I'm primarily played, and like Spider-Man's ult feels really good to use. Like that's a ult where it's so easy to be able to get in and actually like have an impact on the team or like on the match. Like you get in, if there's a few people around you, you pop that, everybody gets webbed up. Like it's easy for you to get in, and there's not really too much they can do about it, which that sounds kind of overpowered. But in a game where all of the ultimates are as strong as they are, like it kind of balances itself out.
It does, yeah. I would say I played a lot of Doctor Strange, also played a lot of Black Panther, I also played a lot of Adam Warlock. Like Black Panther's ult works with his combo, I would say. So it's not necessarily strong as the ult itself, but it's really strong with the character. Like, so that's what I meant with like how every ult feels super strong. It doesn't feel like I don't need to pop this to be like playing the game right. You know what I mean? Like you kind of feel like you need to, you know? So you feel like you're doing better. in the game, I guess. So something like Doctor Strange's old, where he like takes his Eye of Agamotto thing, and he takes everybody's souls out of their body, and then you can all start shooting their souls, and they take more damage. Like whatever, like they can't do shit about that. You know?
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, but it's actually it's that's another thing I'll get into. I feel like there's a lot of balancing issues in the game, but I would say like the ults in this game just feel so good. Like they don't feel weak at all.
Which it'll definitely be interesting to see, because to be honest, in the time that I was playing and the beta or the alpha was going on, I wasn't really keeping up with like how other people were playing the game. I was really just playing like from my perspective, so it's really just getting my own strategies, I guess. So it is definitely going to be interesting to see like what the counterplay as the game's meta develops is going to look like. Like what's the counterplay going to be against like a Spider-Man or an Eye of Agamotto, like stuff like that. Definitely interested to see where that's going to go.
I will say, like, okay, we'll get to like the cons of these like character stuff, I guess. Even though every character is kind of unique, I would say some characters are sort of boring, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really see the appeal, but that's obviously just
It's
like,
subjective.
a personal opinion. Yeah, subjective. But like, when I look at a character like Punisher, or I look at a character like Hulk, I'm just not appealed by that. I don't really care. Like a Punisher is literally just a guy with a gun and a shotgun. Like he's just running around with a gun, and he's he's just really easy to play. Like I don't really see the appeal, because I would say this game has a really high learning curve with most of his characters. Like this game is not easy to play.
Right.
I wouldn't say like a beginner gamer, like someone who's just like getting into games can really pick this game up and have like the greatest of time learning stuff, unless you are, you know, wanting to learn. But the game is fun itself. It's just that it has a very high learning curve, and you can see it with everybody else, because most of the people that were doing or playing in the beta didn't know what they were doing either way. Like they just didn't know what they were doing, and obviously that would change because everyone's learning with them. Like it's not like a one-way street. But then like I said, if you pick up a character like Punisher, it's just like, you know, he's just a guy with a gun. You're just playing like Soldier 76 or something.
Which
so
yeah,
I feel like
there's definitely gonna be there's definitely gonna be like the characters where it's like they make it so if somebody doesn't really want to learn the game, they can just pick this character and still feel like they're doing stuff. Like it comes with the territory. Like we got Soldier 76 in Overwatch, and hell, if we want to go to Overwatch 2, quote unquote, we got Soldier, and like it's a pretty simple character. So I think it'll just depend on how they handle characters going forward. Like we'll see next week whenever we see what other characters they add, what their kits look like and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll just depend.
Yeah, but like back to the boring character thing, I just feel like there's certain characters that are maybe a little bit too basic, because I feel like maybe they can't really translate well in a hero shooter. Like for example, Namor. I played Namor for a little bit. I thought he was kind of fun, but then like his kit was just a little bit boring. Like he has like these squid like turrets that you can put on the ground. That's cool. And he has a spear which he can charge up and throw really hard, or he could just throw it at you. And then like he has his shift ability where he like puts a ball of water around him and you can't hit him. He just flies up into the air, and I think he's just like a big distraction or whatever. His ult is pretty cool where he just calls a giant whale and he eats like the whale eats everybody. But I feel like that character, like they just had to make shit up for him specifically, because I don't think he can do any of that in the comics. I mean, he can fly, but I think he can glide or something in the game.
Yeah.
But, stuff like that is just like kind of turning me off, because I'm like worried for the future, or for future characters that don't really translate well. For example, let's say they bring in the Thing, right? I feel like if they bring in the Thing, there's not really much he can do besides just be invulnerable sometimes. Or Luke Cage, where like they just have big fists and punch people and they can't really take damage. So stuff like that worries me for like future characters if they decide to implement characters like that. But besides that, I think it's fine with some like character designs. Like Luna Snow. Luna Snow, I've heard about her from the game Future Fight. I don't know if you played that, Marius.
I know of her from Future Fight. I didn't really play that game too much, but I know of her.
Yeah, so she's cool. Like I think she's cool. In terms of her character design, like I didn't really play Luna Snow when I did play Future Fight. But I do like some implements of how they want the game to work. Like, you know, Luna Snow's a healer, but she uses ice and shit. Like, how does that work? But like, they made it work somehow. So I do like their creativity in that part, but I do think they have to get a little bit more creative with the ones that they don't really know how to. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my one of my complaints, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely that's one thing that I've got my eye on. Like I said, next week we'll see whatever the next character is gonna be. But like some of these characters that have more simple like powers or general movesets like in the comics, I'm definitely worried about like what exactly they're gonna have them doing. Cause there are some characters in the game where it's like they got translated fine into the game. But personally, for me, they were still kind of boring. Which it's obviously not all about me or Emmanuel when we're saying any of this stuff. It's just our thoughts. So we'll definitely just stick around and see where that's gonna go. I've got faith. I definitely got faith. But I know if it was me that was having to like come up with kits for some of these characters, I feel like I would struggle a bit to have them feel unique and still feel like fun to play. But we'll see.
And also, I feel like some characters don't really have an identity in terms of what their classes are supposed to be.
Really?
Did you play Mantis?
I did play Mantis. She was like the main healer I played.
Yeah, how did you feel as like for her as a healer? Because I didn't play her at all.
Honestly, she kind of felt like a better Zenyatta. Honestly, yeah. She felt like a Zenyatta that could still do damage, but like was actually still healing. So you know, actually a better comparison. It felt like Zenyatta plus Brig in Overwatch, cause she has like the little healing. It's basically like Brig's healing pack things that she would throw at people, but she has more. They come back like a little bit faster, I believe. I don't remember the specific cooldown, but it didn't feel like I just never had the healing stuff to be able to throw out. So like Mantis actually felt really good to play. The one thing that I was hearing was that she wasn't very strong in regards to the other characters. Personally, I didn't feel that, but then again, I didn't even get to play competitive or anything. I don't even remember if competitive was actually live or not. I remember seeing the option,
it
but
was.
Okay.
I did play competitive. I got the silver.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like Mantis felt pretty good to play. She felt like she really did just feel like a combination of those two characters. Now that I'm like looking back at it, which I think is fine because I like both Zen and Brig, but well, Brig, she was really strong at one point, I know, in Overwatch, so like they don't really need to make her any stronger. But like she just felt like a better combination of those two, and I liked that. She was very fun to play.
Yeah, when I play healer, I played Adam Warlock, and I played sometimes. Well, I tried every healer besides Mantis and Luna Snow, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam Warlock just felt like they took Widow, like the Widowmaker from Overwatch,
Mm-hmm.
and Mercy, like just put them together.
Oh,
okay. Which was crazy because his shooting ability is like it's sort of a sniper because it doesn't have any damage fall off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one bullet, like it just shoots one bullet at a time. His little wand that he holds around. And then his main shtick is reviving. So he revives his whole team. He has a little like circle where he revives everybody with his ult, or like
man, that fucking shift, move, bro. That shit's clutch.
Bro, he has a non-targeting healing. So if you press shift and anybody's around you, it just automatically heals them.
Mm-hmm.
Including yourself, which is fucking crazy to me. It's so crazy. Like I feel like that's what I want to see as a healer if I'm trying to play a healer, right? But then if I played Rocket Raccoon, yeah, he has like the ammo thing or like the health packets that's like a little dispenser or whatever, and then like his ult is the thing where like if you die next to it, you revive or whatever. but his healing abilities are kind of bad.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that they wanted you to run Rocket as like not the. You definitely don't want to use him as the main healer or anything. He would definitely be like a secondary healer on top of
Yeah.
like an Adam Warlock or a Mantis.
Yeah, so most Rockets will play him as like a DPS rather than a healer.
Right.
Same thing with Loki. Loki, I feel like Loki was the worst healer I played throughout like the whole healer thing I was doing. He barely heals at all, and I feel like you have to use his clones for him to be more effective with healing, because when he puts a clone down, they stay forever unless you kill it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he targets you while shooting, because when he shoots with his clone, like if it looks at your direction, it actually does damage to you, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not a fake thing, like it actually shoots you. So his healing abilities I feel like was nerfed because of that, because technically you can put like 5 or 6 clones around one person and then just look at that guy's direction and it'll heal him, right? But then it's so little with his like secondary fire, or not secondary fire, it's his main fire, that it doesn't really do anything. So I feel like him as a healer just kind of sucks. Like he's just supposed to be like a little trickster Echo, or like he kind of reminds me of Mirage from Apex.
Yeah, definitely like Mirage from Apex, and then what was her name in Palette? I think Yang. I think that's her name. Yang or Yang, I forget. One of those.
I didn't play Paladins. I didn't play it.
I unfortunately did have a pass with Paladins. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, Loki definitely did seem like an interesting character. Do wish I got to try him, but
he's very interesting. He just sucks as a healer. He's just not good as a healer. At least for me, he didn't really do much for me as a healer. I feel like they try to put some Ana in him too. I don't remember if he had ability like this, but I think there's an ability where he can like cancel healing or something like that. I could be totally wrong about this, but yeah, he just felt really bad as a healer, but as like a normal DPS character, I feel like he would have worked a lot better.
yeah, it definitely does feel like with this game and like the way they are designing the characters, they're definitely, at least the healers, I'll say. The tanks, I'm really not too familiar with, but the healers, you can definitely tell that they wanted to make sure that there were more healers that weren't only focused on healing and are more like they're supporting, but not just specifically through healing. That makes sense. Like they have their own ways of being support heroes instead of just being heal bots like Mercy.
Yeah,
which I definitely appreciate.
I definitely like that too. I guess since we're talking about healers, we should talk about DPSs and tanks as well. I would say the DPS category is definitely the best category, like in terms of like how fun it is to play them. And obviously there are more characters in that category too, but I feel like every character, I don't want to say like, yeah, I will say every character has his own thing, and they're pretty fun to play in their own respective way. Obviously, besides Punisher, than I said earlier. I didn't get to play all of them. I didn't get to play Storm, and I didn't get to play who else did I get to play? Hela. I didn't really play Hela at all.
She was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. She was. From like I mainly only played her in training. She was pretty boring in training. I didn't really fuck with like how she felt to play. That was just me though.
She's quite strong. I will tell you that she's quite strong. She could like 3-shot people in the head.
Damn.
Or 2-shot, sometimes, depending on how much health you have. But yeah, like most of the DPS characters are pretty unique. I just don't like how most of them just fly. It's kind of weird. Like, yeah, I get you can fly, but like, do you have to fly in game, like all of you? Like it's kind of weird.
And honestly, like it felt kind of awkward for characters. Like whenever I did play a little bit of Storm, she felt a little weird to play because she was constantly flying, but she was very, very slow.
Oh yeah.
Which I think from a balancing perspective, I guess it's fine, because it would be really annoying to have a character that's constantly flying around and never touches the ground and is always going really fast or something like that. That would just be a pain in the ass to deal with for sure. But I don't know, it didn't work for me I like the utility that she brought too, cause she's kind of she's like DPS Lucio, cause she had like Lucio, or I guess maybe DPS Mercy would be a better. It's a combination. So like cause she has the wind stance that makes it to where everybody moves faster, and then I think it was like a lightning or thunder stance that made everyone do more damage. So I definitely appreciated that, but yeah, it was definitely interesting. I didn't expect that for Storm. I wouldn't have guessed that.
This is what I'm talking about the uniqueness, bro. Like that's what I need. That's just something that you don't see that in the comics, obviously, because she's an Omega level mutant and she's just like controlling the weather and shit. But this one's like, yeah, sure, her lightning makes everyone faster and her wind makes everyone move fast. Like stuff like that just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they definitely were thinking outside of the box for that. Like I wouldn't have assumed that she would have had that much utility, considering like she storms, she smites people with weather and stuff. Like I wouldn't have guessed that. But they made it work, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I wanted to talk about. Actually, do you want to go ahead and say what you're gonna say?
No. I was gonna just go on a tangent again.
I just wanted to bring up like two things real quick. So far, the OST was okay. That's fine. Like it's shooter music. I'm not really too pressed about that. I might need to look back at it some more because I was just mostly focusing on the game whenever I was playing. But the times whenever I did tap in, it was like, oh, okay, this is something. It's something. But the main thing I wanted to touch on was the map destruction. So I like the idea of map destruction in a hero shooter. I like the idea, but I don't know. It causes a lot of clutter. Obviously, it's map destruction.
Yeah.
Which
some maps it does for sure.
Which I think my thoughts might change whenever the game comes back, and maybe it's like they might polish it more. I don't really know what they may or may not do with it, but definitely like I wasn't the biggest fan of the map destruction. I appreciate the thought that they were even willing to go that far and add it, but I'm not the biggest fan right now. But I'll see. Maybe they'll change it, clean it up like maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I would say, I think maybe that's kind of the reason why the game runs like shit sometimes.
Bro, that too. Good God.
Yeah.
Good God.
The game looks great. I would say the game has a great art style. It doesn't look like, I don't know what I was expecting it to look like, but it looks really good. But good God, it runs like trash sometimes. Like I'll be running from 60 FPS to just straight 20 sometimes.
And we don't have shit computers or anything. Like we've got pretty solid setups, but that game, and it makes sense because this is a closed alpha, so definitely it closed alpha, plus I'm pretty sure they're on UE5 now, so like they're probably getting used to using this new engine, so I'm gonna definitely let them cook with that. But yeah, nah, it's like, damn, bro, I like the art style is amazing, like he was saying, like Emmanuel was saying. I love how it literally looks like a comic book. It looks like you're playing a comic book, and I don't know. I definitely do just want them to clean up the graphics a bit more, optimize the game, and then I think we're in business.
For sure. Damn, what was I going to talk about? I think it was we're going on like the DPS characters, right?
Oh yeah. We were talking about Storm.
Mikey's here.
Oh shit! What's up, Mikey?
No, we're just talking about it. We're doing a video. No, you're good. Shit. I forgot what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought.
The last thing we were talking about before like the OST and map destruction was Storm. I didn't know if there were specific DPS characters you were gonna talk about.
Wait. Okay. I will say Iron Man.
Oh.
Iron Man, I did play him a little bit. He's kind of weird. I will say that because like the way I feel like he was meant to be played was just like a Pharah.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like they had that in mind. It's like, oh, like just give him a bunch of, you know, weapons and rockets, and you know, give him his
little explosives and
like,
shit.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, obviously this is a closed alpha, but a lot of these characters, including Iron Man, are just not balanced correctly. I feel like some of them are a little bit either way too easy are way too hard,
I can agree.
right?
I can agree.
And then the ones that are way too hard, obviously they have, you know, more reward to what they do. But I feel like I can just pick up Iron Man and just blow somebody up. You know what I mean?
Bro, that nigga Iron Man is so fucking easy. I played him a little bit too. Bro, it was so easy to get killed. Cause another thing too, since we're on the topic of Iron Man, basically all of the maps are open. So just about every map that I played on was an Iron Man map, or like a map that Iron Man would have been good on. And the difference between like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch with like Pharah, you can't really just play her everywhere, or like it's not as easy to play Pharah on certain maps in comparison to others. Like you can tell that some maps are designed with Pharah in mind, and some are designed where she's not supposed to be like on that map. Iron Man in this game right now, that nigga, bro, he has free reign. He runs the game low key. You have an Iron Man on your team, that nigga's gonna be getting picks. Like he does a really good amount of damage, and he doesn't really have to aim. He really just has, it's just Pharah. He can just aim wherever you're going to go, or aim around wherever you're at. He does a lot of damage. He can low-key dive you too. He can fly in on you and then hit you with some missiles and then still do his primary fire on you, and then you're basically dead. He has the lasers that can chip away at you pretty fast. Iron Man is really good, and then he can do all of that and get back out, which, to be fair, that specifically isn't just an Iron Man thing. A lot of the characters in this game can go bully you and then run away and like get back to safety. That's not just an Iron Man thing, but Iron Man is definitely one of the stronger characters with that, because once he gets away, it's really, really hard to even shoot him. And he doesn't even have to go that far. Like he can just fly back up in the sky and he can just like strafe a little bit, and you're not really going to be hitting him as much.
Yeah, that's where you were talking about with the inconsistency with the speed in the air and all that. Like Storm feels slow, but he's fast as fuck.
Iron Man is fast as hell. Even whenever you're not doing like the little left shift fly where you're actually like going fast, like he moves around in the air really fast, which it's like, I don't know if Storm should even be brought up to that same speed, or if Iron Man needs to be slowed down. I think Iron Man should be slowed down, because he still will have like his little speed boost that he has where he actually flies like traditionally. Like they can leave that alone, that's fine, but definitely he shouldn't move as quickly as he does normally in the air. At least personally, I don't feel like he should.
I also noticed some flying characters can't walk. Like they can't touch the ground. Iron Man can't touch the ground. I don't know if Storm can.
Nah, I don't think she can. I'm pretty sure she's always flying.
Yeah, Magneto technically isn't touching the ground. Like he's not flying, but he can't fly. But then like, oh, that can go back to some of these characters. Not all of them can fly, yeah, but some of them can like glide in the air if you hold space. And you come from a high surface, which I think goes back to what you were saying about how maps are so open, is because I feel like most characters can fly. I feel like most of them just can't. Star-Lord technically can fly.
Yeah, no, yeah, that does count.
I think since there's so many characters in the Marvel universe that can, they just decided, you know what, let's just make every map open, or open it enough for everybody to fly. Especially Spider-Man like swinging around, or like Iron Man doing his shit, or like even Jeff like just going around like in the swimming through the walls and shit. They just have that in mind. So I think that's just the best bet for everybody to like have free reign of what characters they want to use, you know?
That does make sense now that I'm thinking about it, like that you bring that up, because it's like, yeah, it's not, because the difference is Overwatch really only has a few characters that fly, like 3 roughly, and Marvel Rivals has like, I don't want to say 50% of the cast does, but like a lot of the characters in that game do fly. So it would be extremely limiting if they made it to where like there were so many more closed maps and then you couldn't use certain characters, or just some characters would feel like horrible to play. It's like, depending on how they would close up a map, Spider-Man could feel like horrible to play.
Yeah.
Because he'd be hitting walls and shit, hitting ceilings. Like, it could definitely be a problem.
Yeah, for sure. And then we can actually move on to the tank role now. I think tank is the smallest role. I think.
I want to say they have the lowest amount of characters because it's what like Magneto, Venom, Doctor Strange, Hulk.
Penny Parker.
Oh yeah. I always forget she's in this goddamn game, bro. I don't be remembering she's in here.
That's the thing I wanted to touch on. This is like a con, bro. Like, I feel like the game as a tank, right? If you play the game as a tank, it's just inconsistent. There's so many inconsistencies with the tank role. If you pick Venom or you pick Hulk, they have this like, you know, you feel like you can protect your team, right? Or even Doctor Strange, he has a giant shield, right? Or you get over shield. That's good. I like that. But then if you pick someone like Groot just feels like a glorified May, in my opinion. Like, he just puts walls up, brings people together. That's what May does, you know what I mean? And I don't really think he as a tank does very well. Doesn't really protect your team as like your character. He just uses his abilities to protect your team, you know what I mean? So I feel like if they became more consistent with that, especially since like a lot of them just have overshield just plain out. If you just press a button, like Venom, like if you just have low health, the more overshield you get. In fact, you get a lot. You get like 1,000 hit points. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Or Hulk has 3 fucking lives. That's kind of crazy. I don't know why they were thinking that. You know, let's give Doctor Strange a little bit more overshield, or let's give Thor something more than just a bubble. You know, like
I forgot
that's all they
that
have.
name. Damn.
Right. So I feel like that they should like be more consistent with how they want the tank role to be placed. Right. And then that would I feel like that would help how metas will be played too, because then it won't be just like, oh, just pick a Doctor Strange and pick a Magneto and call it a day. You know what I mean? They'll be like, okay, no, Groot will be better in this map, or this playthrough, or Venom might be better because of what he can do, because Venom can fly technically, or he can swing across the map. But stuff like that, I feel like they should just like touch that a little bit more. And then that way it would be like a little bit more fun with playing a tank, you know?
Yeah, that sounds good. Like, I will say with a character like Groot, definitely does seem like, since this game is 6v6, that they wanted a character like him to be styled as an off tank as well. Kind of like how Winston was prior to Overwatch 2. How you wouldn't really just run Winston and he'd be like the main tank. He would just be like a secondary tank that would be alongside whatever, like a Orisa or something.
Actually, I didn't even really think about that, because I didn't really play. I mean, I played Overwatch 1, but I got so used to Overwatch 2 with the 5v5.
Yeah, I played Overwatch 1 a decent bit. Definitely not as much as like a lot of other people. I kind of got on late because I didn't really have like a proper console or computer to even play it on. Yeah, like so I didn't even really get to experience the game like that until probably around like 2020 or 21. And by that point the game had already kind of went to shit, but it is what it is. So definitely like coming from that experience of the 6v6, it kind of makes sense why some characters can come off like they seem inconsistent. But I think the problem is just that we got so used to Overwatch 2 and that game being 5v5, so where it's like, oh well, this tank feels a little weird to play on his own. But we'll see.
Yeah, I would say so. Also, like, we can get back into the learning curve thing that I was talking about earlier. Like I said, a lot of characters are a little bit hard to play. I like how they do tell you like this character is kind of hard to play before you play it with the star system or whatever it is. But you know, some are pretty easy. Like if I wanted to pick up Scarlet Witch, like she's not hard at all.
Nah,
just fly around and play like Moira, or like, you know, just blow them to go up with your ult. Like if you hear a Scarlet Witch moaning in the fucking air, bro, run away. You gotta go.
Nah, that's one of those strong ults we was talking about earlier. It's like that shit will kill you, my nigga. Get out of there.
Even if you are a tank, you will die.
It don't matter who you are, bruh. Niggas is human on that game. It don't matter.
It's so crazy. But yeah, Scarlet Witch, easy as fuck. Luna Snow, easy. Mantis, easy. Some characters I would say like they do say that they're difficult, but like they're pretty still easy. Like Doctor Strange, which I would say I main right now. Like he's probably my favorite character playing throughout the whole playthrough that I did. He's definitely my favorite character. But it says like he's like I think it was like 2 or 3 stars. He felt like a 1 star. Like it was just really easy to play. They don't. Another thing is like I said with the gun thing. Yeah, not every character has a gun, but some of them do just have projectiles. Like Doctor Strange uses his magic or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel hard to aim with it because of how it's being shot. If that makes sense. So like I feel like I do better in a game like this rather than a game like Overwatch because you know I'm a little bit washed. You know, back in the day I used to. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a little bit of a sniper type shit, right? But then now, like, since I have this fucking trash ass mouse, which I will be getting replaced soon, and I haven't played in like a year, and I'm like slowly getting accustomed back into the gaming like world, I guess. Picking up a character like Doctor Strange just feels a lot better because I don't have to worry about hitting heads so much, right? Like I can hit the body, it's fine, you know. Or like picking up Black Panther, which he doesn't have a gun. Which I'll actually touch on a little bit. The melee characters, yeah, they punch niggas, right? But they are a little bit harder because, like, you know, the ones that don't have to punch you can just stay back and shoot you.
Exactly, they can just keep their distance.
Yeah, so you have to learn how to close the gap, which is also another thing which is kind of hard because like these learning curve things with these characters because you don't know how to play them specifically and you have to learn them obviously. You have to learn how to close that gap and not get shot by the fucking team, right? So I feel like characters like Spider-Man, once you get the hang of it, he becomes super strong. Or Black Panther, he becomes really, really strong, because they can close that gap really, really easily. But then someone like Hulk, I would say I would say that they made him a little bit weaker in that sense because of the way he's built. He's a tank, right? He's not supposed to do too much damage. He's supposed to take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, him having 3 lives and being able to jump from coast to coast pretty fast. It does make sense, but like I would say, it's a lot harder to play a character like Hulk because you have to be conscious of everything that's going around you. And being able to do damage too, because you don't want to look like a bum on your team, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's the one learning curve that a lot of people would have to get used to, just being able to use these melee characters, because I don't think it's ever been a thing in hero shooters ever.
Yeah, not really. Like in the ones that I've played, which is mostly like Overwatch, Paladins, and I think that's really or Apex too. I dabbled in Apex. But in all 3 of those games, like a melee character isn't really something that's too common because even the characters that fight with something like a sword or a scythe, they shoot out projectiles. So you're not even really doing anything like up close. You can dive with those characters, like a character like Vora. Like you can dive somebody, swing in, dive, do your little burst combo and then get out. But at the end of the day, like it's not literally like melee hands to hands. I want to say this is one of the first hero shooters to really emphasize like these characters are fighting hand to hand and y'all kind of have to just get used to it, which honestly I'm here for. I really appreciate that because it's different. They're doing something different that at least not a lot of these hero shooters do. If I can't even think of any off the top of my head, then there's really only probably like a small handful that are.
Yeah, I can't really think of any hero shooters besides Paladins and Overwatch. I mean, there's Concord, but
that game fucking sucks, bro. Fuck that game. couldn't even get on that weak ass game, bro. I'm not gonna. Hey, bro, Concord. Look, I don't know if y'all gonna see this video. Don't sponsor me. I'm not gonna take it. I only got like a few subscribers right now, but I don't care. I'm not taking y'all's sponsorship. Y'all suck. Get y'all game right.
I didn't hate the game. I didn't hate it.
Couldn't even play that bitch, bro. Weak ass game. My fault. I was just pissed off because I remember that day when I was trying to play. It was a waste of time. Anyways,
It happened to me too. Don't worry. It happened to me too. The first day I tried to play it, but I got into it again. I mean, but yeah, back on track.
on God.
What else did I want to talk about? What's on my thing? We got character uniqueness. We got strong abilities. We got high potential. Oh, come on now. This is a big pro. This is a Marvel game. Can you imagine the lengths this shit can go? Like, any movie that comes out in the near future, like we got what's the next Marvel movie that's coming out?
Fantastic Four, I think. I think that's the next movie.
Right? Bro, they have the game, implement the characters in the game, right? Or at least one of them. And then they have the movie. So now they have the movie to watch and the game to play. It's a win-win for everybody. Like, oh, I can use this character that I just saw in a movie in this game, and this shit will feel fun. You know what I mean? If I see fucking a Silver Surfer in the movie, and I'm like, damn, Silver Surfer is kind of hard as fuck. Let me play him in the game. They add him to the game. Shit, fire. So I feel like there's a lot of marketing that can go into this game, that can just make this game so healthy, because you know they want people to be happy playing the game, right? So
Right.
I feel like if they can just make that community with the Marvel universe and, you know, the comics, the movies, and the game itself, they can just like implement everything into one like ball for this game. This game will be so healthy, and it'll be like, it'll go on for like a good bit. And I don't want this game to die, just like Overwatch did at one point.
Yeah, and I know it's two completely different genres, bro, but I don't want this game to turn out like Multiverses is right now, man. I want this shit to be different.
That's a video for another day.
That's a video for a whole other day, bro. Like this game, like Emmanuel was saying, has so much potential. It'll literally end up feeling like, if y'all remember or were like playing mobile games like around 2014, bro, Spider-Man Unlimited, that game had some fire ass events, bro.
Stop playing.
Like, come on, bro. When they dropped Infinity War, bro. When they dropped Infinity War Homecoming, come on, bro. And that was an infinite runner. Imagine what they could do with the hero shooter, with the actual budget.
Bro,
like
for Spider-Man Unlimited right now.
Bro, oh god, if y'all was on that game, bro, come on.
Nobody know about that shit, right? Nobody know about that.
If you a real OG, bro, like the video, bro, because you know about Spider-Man Unlimited, because that game was fucking peak.
That shit was so good.
Literally the best infinite runner to this day. But yeah, no, like literally, like let's say next year Fantastic Four comes out, they could do a whole battle pass season where after maybe like 2-ish weeks they drop another character. So like they'll drop Reed Richards, they'll drop Sue Storm, they'll drop the Thing, they'll drop Human Torch, and like it's easy. It's easy. They'll already have skins. I don't know if they'll end up like making the actors like resemble the character. They probably wouldn't do that, but they'll probably just put the characters in the like movie suits in the battle pass, if I had to guess. Like there's options, there's opportunities. It's kind of being handed to them, really. I'd say all they need to do is get their marketing team on point, line the shit up with the MCU or comics, whatever they want to, do some events alongside that, and make sure you're paying attention to the community. I'm not saying you gotta take everything we're saying into consideration, because some niggas be bullshit. Hell, we're not always gonna be correct every time, but definitely just like keep an eye on what people are saying, because you'll know like what to do and what not to do. And we're not gonna get repeat situations of games like Overwatch or Paladins where them niggas just blatantly didn't really want to listen to the players for a while, then stupid shit happened, and then niggas want to get off the game. Like, yeah, they do that. I think this game is set. That's really all I had to say about that, at least.
Yeah, I feel like you said that really well. Yeah, the marketing will make the game be more healthy and make it last longer. Pause, but a lot of things about this game just scream, this should work, this can work, and this will work. You know what I mean? And I want it to work so bad because I love the Marvel universe. You know, like this is my childhood. Like I've been watching Spider-Man movies when I was younger. Fucking Spider-Man, like Ultimate Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man,
W Spectacular,
the Marvel's Avengers, like all this shit. Like Earth Mightiest Heroes, like all this shit, like on Disney Channel or like the TV in general. I'll be watching that shit, bro. Like this is something that I dreamed of having as a game, so I just want it to work. You know, that's just me though.
Yeah, like it. Again, I know we're saving this for another day, but like it sucks to see a game like Multiverses have literally basically everything handed to them, and they're fucking up on dumb shit. Like,
Bro, like I just want to use my goats, Tom and Jerry, right? The greatest cartoon ever made on a video game that's never been happened before, and they just had to go fuck that shit up.
like, and it was simple shit that they really needed to change, but then they took it way too far, and now the game is just like, at least for us, not as fun. And we're not the only people that feel like that game fell off. Again, my fault. We getting ready to go into a whole Multiverses rant. We just like that game and we want it to be better. That's all.
Yeah.
But in regards to Marvel Rivals, honestly, that's kind of where I'm at. So far, I feel like this game has so much potential. It's very fun. The characters are really unique. I like playing them so far. I just look forward to where this game is gonna go, honestly.
Yeah. Because, you know, every game will have its own problems, I would say. But, you know, we just started. So, I can't wait to see where this game goes. I feel like it had a good start so far. More ups than downs for sure. So I just can't wait for this shit to take flight into the gaming universe. You feel me?
Tight shit.
But yeah, I think that'll be it.
Yeah, that's all we really got to say on here. So hey, if y'all still here, I appreciate you, bro. You ain't got a short attention span, and I fuck with that. You a real nigga, bro. I fuck with you.
You know, this could be one of those videos that you put on the background while you reading something, not reading something, like doing homework or like, you know what I'm saying, like. I don't know, you just doing something else, but you just have this in the background, and I feel like that's cool. You know,
Yeah.
I do that shit too.
Like almost like a mini podcast type shit. Yeah, if y'all if y'all want to hear more discussion videos with Emmanuel and everybody else in the collective, let me know, bro. Type something in the comments. Let me know real quick, or like, and drop some likes.
Go ahead, like and subscribe to the Soullight RNC channel.
On me. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We got some videos to edit, shit to plan. I'm gonna catch y'all later, bro.
Bye.